Welcome everyone to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking something that's absolutely critical when it comes to wildlife biology and rehabilitation. For decades, well-intentioned rescuers and wildlife centers have made what seemed like a totally logical choice when hand-rearing orphaned or injured insect-eating birds. They'd feed them commercially available soft diets. We're talking minced meat, soaked cat food, specialized protein pastes. And hey, on paper, it made perfect sense. It was cheap, easy to administer, and seemed to hit all the required calorie marks. But, as we're going to see, this historical practice turned out to be a really devastating mistake.
So this gets right to the heart of the issue. If a spoonful of minced meat has the exact same protein as a beetle, why does it kill the bird? Well, we call this the illusion of nutrition. Basically, looking fed is absolutely not the same thing as biological fitness. A chick might be swallowing the food, getting the calories, but underneath the surface, its body is going through a massive, cascading physiological failure. So we're going to look at the exact medical drama that unfolds when we falsely assume that having the right macros is enough.
Okay, let's dive right into this. First, we'll look at the soft diet myth, then the unique anatomy of an insectivore. After that, we'll cover the cascading health failures, the undeniable proof from the SWIFT study, and finally, the actual path to survival.
Section 1. The soft diet myth. Substituting structurally complex, rigid insects with highly processed, squishy, soft diets actually triggers a developmental catastrophe. I mean, think about it. Giving a bird like a common swift a syringe of protein paste completely ignores literally millions of years of evolutionary adaptation. Out in the wild, parent birds feed their rapidly growing chicks complex prey with really tough, rigid exoskeletons. And those physical properties aren't just packaging, right? They act as essential mechanical and biochemical drivers for the bird's gut development. You just can't replace that with mush.
Now, to understand why this fails so spectacularly, we need to talk about digestive plasticity. Basically, that's an organism's ability to actually change the structure and function of its digestive organs based on what it eats. Some generalist birds, like your everyday sparrows, they have a pretty high degree of this plasticity. But obligate insectivores, like swifts and swallows, they've evolved over eons with incredibly specialized constant diets. Because of that, they possess virtually zero digestive plasticity. So when they're suddenly fed a highly degradable soft formula, it just zips right through them way too fast, totally failing to trigger the mechanical and chemical feedback loops that their bodies desperately need.
Section 2. Anatomy of an insectivore.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how specialized we're talking about. Let's contrast the extreme mechanical and chemical environment of the insectivore's gut against a seed-eating bird. The differences are wild. The insectivore has a massively enlarged proventriculus, that's its glandular stomach, and it pumps out intense amounts of hydrochloric acid to break down those dense insect proteins. Then, right below that, the gizzard is highly muscularized and lined with this hardened matrix to generate intense mechanical shear forces. It literally crushes exoskeletons. Meanwhile, their ceca, which are part of the lower intestine, are tiny or even vestigial. They've essentially lost their function because these birds don't need to ferment plant matter at all.
Now, the magic ingredient that demands all this extreme anatomy is chitin. Chitin is the rigid, tough polymer found in insect exoskeletons. Historically, people just thought of it as indigestible fiber, but modern avian nutrition tells us it is absolutely crucial. These birds have evolved to produce highly specific avian chitinase enzymes just to break this stuff down in their intensely acidic stomachs. But if you feed a bird cat food, there's zero chitin. Zero. That means the bird's own energy, which it spends heavily on creating these specialized acids and enzymes, is completely wasted. The entire biochemical environment gets thrown totally out of whack.
Section 3. Cascading health failures. Now, what's really terrifying here is this single, shocking number, 60%. In experimental models using a migratory shorebird called the red knot, researchers found that just switching the bird from hard-shelled prey to a soft pellet diet caused its gizzard mass to plummet by 60% in just 8.5 days. The stomach muscles literally just waste away from disuse, kind of like human muscles do if you stop resistance training.
And sadly, that gizzard atrophy is just the beginning. Let's rapid fire through the intense cascading failures that happen next. Without that mechanical resistance, the gizzard becomes weak and flaccid. So if that bird gets released and tries to eat a real beetle, it can't crush it, which leads to a fatal impaction. Then you have lipid depletion. Soft diets just don't have the bioavailable fats that insects do. So the bird's metabolism goes into a panic and literally starts digesting its own skeletal muscle just to survive. This severe crisis spikes stress hormones, which then destroys the integrity of their developing flight feathers, leaving these visible, fragile stress lines. Oh, and add in the inverted calcium to phosphorus ratios found in minced meat, and the birds develop metabolic bone disease, meaning flexible jaws and bent, fractured bones. The chick might look like it's eating, sure, but its body is literally collapsing and eating itself from the inside out.
Furthermore, we now know that chitin actually acts as a crucial prebiotic. When partially digested chitin reaches the lower intestine, it feeds beneficial bacteria that produce gut-healing short-chain fatty acids, primarily one called butyrate. And butyrate is a total superpower for the gut. It tightens up the intestinal walls and blocks pathogens. But a soft diet, it completely starves the microbiome of chitin. Because of that, chicks fed soft diets routinely suffer from severe dysbiosis, chronic inflammation, and deadly bacterial and fungal infections.
Section 4. Proof. The Swift Study. Okay, let's move on and see how this builds. Because this isn't just theoretical. Let's look at the climactic empirical evidence from a brilliant 2013 study out of the Torre Ferresa Wildlife Center in Spain. The data here is an absolute mic drop. Researchers took 116 orphaned common swifts and assigned them to 4 different diets. For context, the healthy wild standard weight for a swift fledgling is about 41.5 grams. Now look at diets 1 and 2, rat meat and cat food. Those birds were severely stunted. They barely reached 32 grams, had no fat, and their feathers were terrible. But then look at diets 3 and 4, whole crickets and whole mealworms. Those birds hit over 40 grams. They showed optimal growth, rich fat retention, and a level of fitness perfectly equivalent to a wild bird raised by its actual parents.
And it gets crazier, because the clinical outcomes went way beyond just weight. The birds fed cat food suffered such a severe sensory and mechanical misalignment that they literally forgot how to beg for food. The soft paste caused this hard, uncomfortable distension in their digestive tracts. When the rehabilitators finally tried to offer them natural, whole insects to save their lives, the chicks routinely just spat them right out. The soft diets had completely destroyed their innate survival instincts. Section 5. The Path to Survival.
So the crucial point is we have to change our approach. Based on all this, there are 4 non-negotiable rules for hand-rearing these birds. Number 1, fluid therapy. Dehydrated birds have inactive guts, so you should never feed a dehydrated chick solid food. Administer an electrolyte fluid like Ringer's solution and amino acids first. Number 2, an absolute ban on soft diets. Never, ever use cat food, minced meat, or pastes as their primary calories. Number 3, feed whole insects. Give them gut-loaded, intact crickets and mealworms to provide that vital chitin structural stimulation. And finally, number 4, supplement strictly. Since commercial insects just aren't as diverse as wild aerial plankton, you absolutely have to add precise avian vitamins and calcium every single day to prevent any deficiencies.
Which leaves us with a really provocative final question for anyone interacting with wildlife. Will we respect the hidden, rigid complexities of nature, or will we continue risking lives on the illusion of nutrition? A bird's digestive tract isn't just a passive tube. It's a mechanically sensitive, biochemically complex marvel of evolution. Thank you so much for joining me today for this explainer. I really hope this deep dive arms you with a newfound respect for wildlife biology and leaves you eager to rethink how we nurture the natural world. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.